Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show. Brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
He's quite a piece of work.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Thursday. Means brought to you by Sagrera Farms, premium Angus beef. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos, working towards the weekend. And lots to talk about here over the next couple of hours. Is Todd Graves going to buy the Saints? And is that a good thing for the Saints? We'll do that in 30 minutes. I'll preview LSU's baseball weekend to come. Keep in mind, 24 hours from right now, LSU's cranking things up in the Jax College Classic with a matchup with Indiana, so I won't have time to preview that tomorrow. We'll get into that today. Chris Blair will be with us at 2:15. He'll be on the call for LSU and Bama on the hardwood on Saturday night. Bama was in a long one last night. Played Arkansas. It was a heck of a basketball game, and we'll talk a little bit about that with Chris at 2:15. Plus, there's a situation in Lawrence, Kansas right now, and it doesn't apply to LSU right now, but it could. I wrote a column about it at LouisianaSports.net, not necessarily in the exact way that you're thinking right now, but I'll get to that coming up in 15 minutes. For right now, let's start the way we start every day with our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive. Presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Well, we were on the air yesterday. LSU was playing Nichols, and I gave you scores intermittently throughout the 2 hours, but a 1 o'clock first pitch, not ideal for this radio program. We had it yesterday. We'll have it again tomorrow, but that game's in the books, and I want to give a big shout-out to John Pearson, who clubbed a big home run to make that a walk-off run rule victory so that I could write the story for LouisianaSports.net and get to Myers swim lessons on time. Big swing right there from John Pearson. But he made it happen. LSU won 12-1 in 8 innings at the box. And I have some thoughts on the game overall. I mentioned on the show yesterday, Zach Cowan started the game. He didn't have it at all, really. He got through the first inning with less damage than could have been inflicted. He gave up a solo homer. Then he gave up a couple of hits, and there was a throwing error, and the bases were loaded, and you were down 1-0. And he did make the pitch to get out of the inning. He blew a fastball by a guy with the bases loaded, and deserves credit for that. Then he came back in the second inning and gave up another hit, and there was a walk, and it just didn't have his good stuff. So they went to Dax Dothie in the second inning yesterday. I talked about Cowan as a potential starter on this team, how I'm not super in favor of that. I'm not pressing the panic button on Zach Cowan at this point, but he has to locate his pitches. And when he misses up, he gets hit. And he missed up consistently in the game yesterday, and they hit it hard. They're going to do that. So I think a lot of people are looking at this going, well, Cowan was terrible late last year, and he's been bad the first 2 outings. Like, has he been figured out? And I want to, just very briefly touch on that for a second. He was awful last year at South Carolina. In the regular season finale, he came out there, was giving up homers. He was terrible. And he was not good when LSU gave him the baseball in the regional. He was not good in that start. So those 2 outings were bad. People will say, well, he was terrible against Texas A&M too. I push back on that. His line score was terrible at Texas A&M. I don't think he was that bad. He gave up a triple on a changeup that was a decent pitch. And then he gave up the home run that gave Texas A&M the lead. We gave him a triple and a home run. He's a closer. He can't do that. Well, the home run he gave up that gave A&M the lead to win the series was to Caden Sorrell, who's going to be a top 10 pick in the draft. It will not surprise me at all if Caden Sorrell is the National Player of the Year this year. It will not surprise me. He's that good. And the pitch was down and away, and Sorrell, a left-handed hitter, just went down into his knees and lined it off the scoreboard. You have to throw it over the plate, and I thought he did in that instance, and a better hitter made a great swing. So I'm going to throw a little bit of damp water on the Cowan was terrible late last year. In Omaha, in a cavernous ballpark with some wind help, he was huge against Arkansas. I'm not telling you that it was a charade for 12 weeks last year. He can get outs in college baseball in the SEC. He has not pitched well for 2 outings. He needs to clean that up. You may see him this weekend. You may not. You may not see him until next midweek. He needs to be better. He needs to throw the ball over the plate. He needs to keep it down a little bit better. He was not great yesterday. The bullpen was very good. There were some walk issues. Theophilus, who's a really good strike thrower, that's been his MO as a high schooler, and that was his MO in the fall. He got a little bit loose and gave up 3 walks, and Santiago Garcia walked 2 guys as well. But nobody gave up a hit in the bullpen. And really, the biggest story out of the bullpen was Reagan Ricken, who I wrote about this morning at LouisianaSports.net. He is a very intriguing prospect. I will level with y'all here. I feel like I can give y'all a reasonable account at scrimmages when I watch from down the first baseline. I can tell you, until they turn the gun off, how hard guys throw, how many strikes they throw, how hard the contact is they give up. I am personally better at watching a pitcher for stuff from the camera view behind on TV. I'm just better at that. I can see movement. I can see location a little bit better. I can see shapes of pitches. I'm just not trained to do it from eye level on the fourth row of the first baseline. There are some scouts that can do it. I can't. I'm not a scout. So this was my first really good look at Ricken at LSU. There's YouTube videos out there, and if you watched the game yesterday and want to go look at the transformation that Reagan Ricken has made since he got to Baton Rouge, go look at the high school showcase footage on YouTube. He is a beanpole out there. He's throwing 89, 90 miles an hour. Now, he's not. He told the media yesterday he's gained 30 pounds since he got to LSU. I did that at LSU. It's just more pluckers and some domestic beers as opposed to protein and work in the weight room. But Ricken's put on 30 pounds since he's gotten to LSU. He's throwing harder, and he looks the part physically as a freshman. He's 6'5". He's now 215 pounds, and he looked great yesterday. I thought his fastball had some life to it. He threw a great changeup for a strikeout. He's working on his slider that he feels like he's got to get a little bit more depth on. It looks more cutterish right now, where it's a little bit more horizontal and not dropping vertically as much, and you want to miss bats with that vertical drop. There's a great image on Twitter today from John Eads of WAFB, who took video of Ricken pregame yesterday working with Gavin Guidry on breaking ball grips. And if you're going to look at one guy on this staff to learn how to throw a breaking ball, like, it would be Gavin Guidry. But Ricken was really good in this game on Wednesday afternoon. 3 innings, no hits. Didn't walk anybody, 2 strikeouts. He did hit or batter, got to a 3-1 count, threw a really good slider to get strike 2, and then got a 1 fouled off, and then he hit a guy. But I thought he looked really good. And Jay Johnson said something yesterday that I'm going to file away in the back of my mind. He said he could pitch on Fridays for us at some point. And I thought about something, and Jay is a little bit prone to hyperbole. He will say this guy's the best hitter in the country, this guy's the best shortstop in the country, this guy's he pumps his guys up in the media, and I'm fine with that. It is fine. But I'm struck by something he said when Ethan Fry was a freshman and sophomore. He said, we can't even really get Fry at bats, and I think he could be an All-American here. And this is when Ethan Fry was a freshman behind Dylan Cruz and Braden Jobert and that whole crew in the outfield on the Natty team, and didn't play at all. And then he got hurt in his sophomore year. Y'all remember that. But Jay was always really high on him. And we know now that Ethan Fry hit .331, 13 homers, was a $1 million draft pick of the Astros, and became a star. He wasn't an All-American, but he was a star. He was right in the middle of LSU's lineup and was as good a hitter as LSU had in the postseason. You know, the 3-run double against Little Rock that was maybe the biggest swing of the year. He had a huge hit against Coastal, that line drive missile in the game that LSU won to clinch it, that tied the game, that banged off the wall. He's awesome. And that's what Jay thinks of the talent of Reagan Ricken. He was a high school quarterback, a really good athlete. His parents were both college athletes, and he's now kind of grown into his body, and they're going to ease him along here. But I talked about potential options in the weekend rotation, and I think Cooper Williams is the next guy up, and I think there are a couple that are probably, that are most certainly right now in front of Ricken, but they think a lot of him, and I like that spot for him. Low leverage, get on the mound, see what you got. It's his debut, and I'd like to see him in a little bit higher leverage spot in a non-conference game, maybe in his next time out there. And I don't know when you'll see him next. 38 pitches in the game on Wednesday, maybe not on Friday, but I think for sure on Sunday he could be ready to go if LSU thinks he's the best guy to try to win a game against Central Florida. So I really liked that. Offensively, LSU did some good things in the game on Wednesday. I gravitate towards the home run that you saw from John Pearson because he's now hit the ball really hard a couple times. And I think this LSU team is going to be looking for right-handed bats, right-handed impact bats, because York's not coming out, and Brown's not coming out, and Curiel's not coming out. And then you've got Dardar, who's playing a lot right now. I think he's going to play, and I think they're going to be looking for some right-handed bats, whether that's in the starting lineup or on a day that you face a really good right-handed pitcher and you stack it with lefties, and then they bring a lefty out of the bullpen. Where's your right-handed punch? And I have not thought a ton of John Pearson with this team because I don't think he's got a position to play, and there are a lot of DH options. You're going to take Omar Cerna's bat out of the lineup? Maybe. I'm not ruling that out. You're going to take Braden Simpson's bat out of the lineup? Maybe. I don't know. But Pearson's another one. And you've got more guys than you've got spots in the lineup. So I think Pearson is interesting. I think he's got a spot as a DH against left-handed pitching and as a pinch hitter against left-handed pitching. He did that some last year and didn't have a ton of success. But he's a good hitter, and he's got a lot of power. That home run he hit yesterday cleared the bleachers with plenty to spare. And that's part of the depth of this lineup that I think is really exciting. Trent Carraway, another right-handed bat, hit the grand slam in the first inning yesterday afternoon, I guess I should say. Another great swing from him, and he's got power. He absolutely has power. He didn't use a lot of it a lot of the season at Oregon State until they got to the postseason. And I told you this entering opening day, and I'll double down on it. They did a lot of work with him on his swing in the fall. And that's why on opening day against a left-handed starter, Carraway hit ninth, because they're not going to put a lot of pressure on him right now while he's figuring out the new mechanics at LSU, the new approach that LSU has instilled in him to hit with. So they're letting him get his feet under him. And yesterday was a step in the right direction from that perspective as he hits a grand slam, an advantage count. So that was really good. I thought LSU was fine offensively. They got a ton of help from a midweek Nichols pitching staff that walked 10 guys, but they put 12 runs on the board in 8 innings of work. You'll take that all day, every day. So nice work from LSU, workmanlike against Nichols. Nichols right now, best strength of schedule in the country. I don't know if anybody's going to argue with that. They went to Knoxville for the weekend, and then they played LSU in a midweek. So that you're talking, they played South Alabama in the middle of that, but you're talking 3 against Tennessee, 1 against LSU in your first 5. That's tough sledding for the Colonels. I think things will probably ease up on them a little bit as they navigate non-conference play. But good stuff from LSU. The Tigers moved to 5-0. Now they fly to Jacksonville. They did that last night, and they'll get ready to play Indiana tomorrow. I'll preview the entirety of that weekend, which features a very, very interesting potential Sunday matchup with Central Florida and a starter who you've seen before and a closer who played for you. So we'll talk about that in 45 minutes from now. Our Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Do beef a little bit differently at Sagrera Farms. It's some of the best beef in the country, and it's right here just north of Baton Rouge. All you got to do is call Sean Sagrera, 719-1723. Talk to him. He's really passionate about what he's doing there. If you're not satisfied with the quality of beef that you're buying weekly, if you're not satisfied with the cost of the beef relative to the quality, how about Sean? Sean hasn't raised prices like everybody else has. He's got a premium product, so you're going to pay for that, but you're getting prime Angus beef, incredible marbling, incredible texture and flavor. The tenderness is off the charts. It's what we got at the Palmer House. I'm thinking about a ribeye tomorrow, quite frankly. It's in the freezer right now. If you want some of the best beef in the country and you want to have a whole cow, half cow, quarter cow at your house, so when you're ready to cook, you've got the best, call Sean. 225-719-1723. All Sean has on that farm is prime. That's it. No select, no choice. It is prime Angus beef, and it can be yours if you make that call over to Sean Sagrera at Sagrera Farms. They bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. We'll come back. Interesting stuff going on right now in Lawrence, Kansas. And it doesn't apply to LSU from a basketball perspective right this minute. But I think it's going to impact college sports as a whole. And I think it's going to be a transformative thing. I'll tell you why when I come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Some call it overplanning, but at Boudreaux's Electrical, they call it foresight. Be prepared for the next power outage with a Generac home standby generator from the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical. Neil and Melissa have been with running Boudreaux's Electrical for 40 years, okay? They've serviced this community, and their customer service is off the charts. They monitor these generators remotely. So if something happens and it's not ready to function, they'll send a tech out there and get it taken care of. So you have the peace of mind of knowing that generator is going to come on when you need it and that power goes out. Maybe you've already bought a Generac home standby generator from one of the big box stores and you get no customer service. You haven't heard from them since you walked out the door. Well, what happens if something breaks down? Get the Boudreaux's Boost. Call the folks at Boudreaux's Electrical, and they will help you service your Generac standby generator, even though you didn't buy it from them. That's what they mean to us here in South Louisiana. Do this before hurricane season, y'all. I know it's February and it's not what you're thinking about right now, but you know it's coming. So call them at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. Or in Gonzales in the 225 area code, it's 393-89. You can also find them online at boudreauxelectrical.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
March Madness is heading to Las Vegas, and LouisianaSports.net is sending one of you plus a friend with it. We're giving away a 3-night Las Vegas getaway from Wednesday, March 18th through Saturday, March 21st, just in time for all the madness. Hotel stay and flights covered. All you have to do to enter is head to LouisianaSports.net, click the March Madness Getaway link, sign up before our March Madness Pick'em launches, get yourself entered, and you could be watching the tournament from Las Vegas instead of your couch. Winners will be announced Monday, March 2nd.
Incredible read, Jordan.
Thank
That was really well done.
Hey, man, I practiced that one last night.
Our Thursday shows brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. I think this story that I'm going to talk about, like probably 80% of you listening are well aware of, maybe 20% are not because you're completely checked out on college basketball. But I think that there is a relevant local storyline here, or it's easy to create a local storyline out of this. Darren Peterson is, to me, the best player in college basketball. He is a 6'6" wing from Kansas. He shoots the absolute lights out, 43% on the year from three. He's averaging 20 points per game. You've heard Bill Self talk about him this year and saying he's as gifted a scorer as he's seen in the Big 12 since Kevin Durant left town at Texas. And I don't think that's some sort of hyperbole. He's not 6'10", so he's not Durant to a T, but he is an incredible scoring guard. And most people believe he is a slam dunk #1 pick in what looks like the best freshman class we've seen in years. That's Darren Peterson, for those that aren't aware of him. He also plays half the time. You say, well, does he get hurt all the time? Is he sick? What? We're not real sure. We've heard the flu. We've heard hamstring issues. There's been cramping. We're not real sure. And last night, a really incredible illustration, because I think most of you do know who Darius Acuff is at Arkansas. He, to me, is the second or third best freshman in the country. And last night, Darius Acuff scored 22 points in the first half. He scored 49 in a double overtime game in Tuscaloosa and never came off the floor. He played 50 minutes in Tuscaloosa on the road, double overtime, and scored 49 points. And in the same window, Darren Peterson scored 18 points in the first half at Oklahoma State. So, like, basically, Acuff and Peterson are going shot for shot in different gyms in the first half. Acuff plays the rest of the way in a double overtime game and gets his heart broken in the loss. Peterson played 3 minutes after halftime, said, I can't really go. And Bill Self, after the game, was asked about it. And Bill Self said, yeah, wasn't really expecting that. I thought he was good to go. And you can tell, looking at Bill Self, that he's kind of out of answers with his star player who plays half the time. They've played 24 games, and Peterson has missed 11. And last night, he just didn't play in the second half, basically. So I'm not here to chastise Darren Peterson. I'm not here to tell you he's a liar or that he's got some sort of snake in his camp. I don't know how bad the cramps are. I don't know how bad the hamstring issue was. I don't know what his temperature was when he had the flu. I don't know any of that stuff, and I don't really care. What this appears to be from the outside, and I cannot prove it, but it appears to be a young man who would have gone from the high school to the NBA if given the opportunity. The NBA pays better than college. College pays great for these kind of guys. The NBA pays better. And on your second NBA contract, it pays astronomically, and that's the prize here. It looks to me that Darren Peterson does not really care if Kansas wins or loses. He cares about the check at the end. And this is something Jordan and I talked about last week, where there's always going to be a disconnect in professional sports, and this is now professional sports, between fans and players. Fans don't give a rip what your contract says. They don't care if you get paid on the 1st and 15th, if you only get paid on Mondays after NFL games, what's your signing bonus. Fans don't care. They only care about winning. Some players care so deeply about winning, and money is important, but it's secondary, and it takes care of itself when we play well and I win. And then there are some players who say, don't really care who I play for, what's the check say? And none of that is right or wrong. It just is, and it's a dichotomy in interests. And that has, more so than ever, crept into college sports, which we care about so deeply in this market with LSU down the street. And no, LSU does not have the #1 pick in the NBA draft on its roster right now. This just did. But in the last 20 years, Jamarcus Russell went first overall, and Joe Burrow went first overall, and Simone Augustus went first overall, and Paul Skeens went first overall. And then you've got second overall picks like Jaden Daniels and Dylan Cruz, who were second overall picks. Sylvia Fowles was a second overall pick. This is a school that routinely has famous star players that go really high and get huge paydays in the professional ranks. It happens here all the time. It just so happens that some of the folks that have, and look, you have transfers that come here that are famous when they come here. Tommy White was famous when he got here. Angel Reese came in and was a mega star at LSU. Sam Levitt just transferred, famous, big payday. And thankfully at LSU, from my perspective as an LSU alum and an LSU fan, like Tommy White transferred here and hurt his shoulder in the first inning of the first game. He couldn't take infield in May. He played all the way through, hit a massive home run, won a national championship. Angel Reese played as hard as anybody you will see. You can't be that dynamic a rebounder in the SEC Player of the Year if you're not giving everything you've got on the floor. Sam Levitt's got a Liz Frank injury. You just saw video of him on Twitter yesterday grinding in the offseason. You've had folks, and look, Paul Skeens was walking down to the bullpen. I saw him with my own two eyes 3 days after he had started against Wake Forest to close out a national championship game if they needed it. Now, they won 17-3 or whatever it was, so they didn't, but he was going to go out there and pitch. He was ready to go. I'm questioning Dylan Cruz's effort or Jaden Daniels' effort here. Joe Burrow played the second half of the national championship game with cartilage cracked in his ribs. But you've got a situation now where, more so than ever, some of these players can cash checks and really kind of have their eye out the door. And it appears to me that Darren Peterson falls into that category. And I'm just curious how the folks that are cutting his checks at Kansas feel about him taking himself out of the second half at Oklahoma State, feel about him playing 60% of the games. So what does it mean? Well, what can they do? Well, I don't know if they can do anything. But I do know that Washington held on to their quarterback because of a contract, and I do know that LSU paid Ole Miss $1 million to go get Prince William Unmielen and TJ Daughtery. And so what's to suggest that teams can't put in contracts that are incentive-laden? Darren, I got a lot of money here for you. I need you to play X amount of games to hit that threshold, or else it's coming down to this. You see this in the NFL all the time. If you score this many points, this bonus kicks in. If you play this many minutes, this kicks in. I realize that that may incentivize someone to do something personally that doesn't necessarily benefit the team if you're just trying to get shots up so you can hit your bonus, but it's better being out on the floor than hitting yourself with the Theragun on the bench and saying you can't go in. I believe Darren Peterson's case is going to resonate nationally and at places like LSU where you have famous players on your roster that your contracts may look different. They may say you got to have some incentives in here. Now, it's an open market, so somebody may come in with guaranteed money like you can in the professional ranks, and then you're up to this. But the key here is you're going to have to find players that you recruit from the high school ranks and from the transfer portal ranks that have the best interest of the team at heart, best you can tell. Because I think, this is a think, not a no, I think Bill Self is growing tired. It's just based on the interviews. And he's got a team that can win a national championship, and he's got the best player in the country, and you're trying to steady those waters. But that's brutal. And you look at what Darius Acuff did, and John Calipari went to the postgame press conference after Darius Acuff played 50 minutes, scored 49 points, and said, yeah, he was in a walking boot 2 days ago. That's a dude who wants to win. And again, I'm not telling you that as a brilliantly skilled athlete with literally, Darren Peterson is likely to make hundreds of millions of dollars in the NBA. Those contracts, those max deals, you get a couple of them, hundreds, not 20 million, 50 million, 250 million. And so I'm not telling him that he has to go out there and handle his business against Oklahoma State when he's got, what's on the line, 20 right now? He doesn't have to do that. It's in his right. And there are some people that would say, he's exactly right. Why would you waste that? And there are some people that say, that's ridiculous. You committed to play for the team, you play for the team. Neither one of those stances is wrong in my estimation. What I'm telling you is the situation is real. And if you want to mitigate against that, you've got to recruit to character and you've got to recruit to contracts that stipulate how much money is coming out of your coffers to these guys. Because if you've got revenue sharing and you're dumping a bunch of money into somebody who only wants to play half the time, that could be crippling to your quote-unquote salary cap. These are things we never had to consider in the college sports landscape. I'm watching it in Lawrence, Kansas right now. Ultimately, Darren Peterson's his college legacy will be what happens when they tip the ball off in that tournament. If he does what he did last night in that tournament, you know. If he's kind of load management here or there, and then he said, for 6 games, I got you. Give me 34 minutes. That seems far-fetched to me. And speaking of far-fetched, you could tell me that he's really dealing with cramping issues, and he really had a hamstring issue, and he really had the flu, and really he was only able to play in 14 games thus far. That's hard for me to believe too. Now look, Patrick Peterson in 2010 had significant cramping issues. He cramped really badly against North Carolina inside. And so there are some people that are genetically predisposed to that, and you've got to get a hold of it. But this is a quote-unquote situation here in Lawrence. And it's not applicable to LSU right now, but, Ben Simmons came through here. And I mentioned all the other number 1 picks from the other sports. It happens here a lot. Championships are happening here a lot. And there's a heavy financial investment in a lot of players around here. You've got to vet that now, and there may be strong addendums to contracts coming up based on incentives. You got to give me what we're paying you for, or else we're not paying it. I'm not an attorney. I don't see these. I don't know how enforceable it is. And I don't know if that's going to work in the open market when the next school over might be willing to do it guaranteed. But it's something to think about for sure. And last night, the dichotomy between the efforts from Acuff and Peterson was so stark for 2 guys that are on the exact same trajectory, more or less. I thought it was fascinating. So that's my look at the Darren Peterson situation in Lawrence, Kansas. We'll step aside when we come back. Let's talk about the New Orleans Saints. Who's next to buy them? And would Todd Graves be a good answer? Next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Check out Marucci. Take a tour. Campus tour is awesome over there at Marucci. They make 1,200 bats there every single day. And that wouldn't be, some huge story if it wasn't the official bat of Major League Baseball, and if they weren't just started in a backyard shed here in Baton Rouge 22 years ago. But that's the case. Such a cool place. I know that youth baseball is starting up. Myersman got his first T-ball practice ever coming up on Saturday. Fired up to get out there. If your youth team's about to start up and you want to do something to team build, go out and see him at Marucci. Weather might not be awesome on Saturday, so it might be a great time instead of practice to go out and take a tour. And every single ticket comes with a 20% discount in the campus tour store and in the hitter's house. If you're looking for that new bat and new equipment, they got it there at Marucci. It's the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's right here in Baton Rouge. Go by and see them. Check out a campus tour. You can find a ticket at maruccisports.com/campus-tour. That's all there at maruccisports.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. ParrishBuilt.com.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades. But our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Call Sean at 225-719-1723. Some of the best beef in the country is just north of town in Baton Rouge, and they bring you our Thursday shows each and every week. All right, let's talk a little Saints. It's off season. It's a little bit of a slow time. It will ramp up with the combine, and certainly mock draft season never truly ends until they start making the actual picks. So we'll be in that for quite some time. But I think that this growing swell of discussion surrounding Todd Graves and the New Orleans Saints is very interesting. Back on Super Bowl week, Jason and Travis Kelce threw a big party, and TMZ was there, and Todd Graves was there, and they asked him about potentially buying the Saints, and he said, I may have an in there. He's well known as a football lover. He's a Louisiana native. He has a Super Bowl suite every year. He's got $22 billion, and it makes a lot of sense because we know that the succession plan for the New Orleans Saints is this. Gail Benson's going to have it until she's physically incapable of doing so, and the Benson's plan has long been to sell the organization, not pass it down, sell it, and give the proceeds to the city of New Orleans. That's been the plan for some time now. So it stands to reason that the Saints will come up for sale sometime in the next decade or so, right? And that can be a frightening thing for the city of New Orleans. Because, let's be real here. Let's take off the black and gold glasses and be real about this. The Saints are not the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're not the Green Bay Packers. They're not the New York Giants. They're not the Dallas Cowboys. The Saints are one of the three smallest market teams in the NFL. And if you look at the five smallest market teams in the NFL, according to this list I just looked at, it's the Packers at 1, which, of course, the Packers are owned essentially by the ticket holders. It's the Bills at 2, Buffalo, not a big market. It's the Saints at 3. It's the Jaguars at 4. It's the Raiders at 5. And just beyond that, and keep in mind, the Saints are at 3 there. And just beyond that, you're talking about franchises like some that have moved in the past, right? I think you're looking at a franchise that is grouped in with Jacksonville, who's long been rumored to play half its games in London or move to London, and the Raiders, who have moved multiple times in my lifetime. The Rams, the Cardinals, like these are the type of franchises the Saints are probably lumped in with. That does not, for 1 second, diminish the passion that New Orleans has for its team. Not for 1 second. I know that. The whole league knows that. Nobody wanted to go in that dome with Breeze and Peyton on that sideline in prime time. You got your clock cleaned if you did. But facts are facts, numbers are numbers. New Orleans is not some bustling place like Nashville that's just growing leaps and bounds. It's the opposite of that. And so the sale of the Saints can be intimidating to fans of the Saints. And if Todd Graves can step up and make this happen, he's 51 years old. That's a Louisiana native who would have no intention ever of moving the Saints out of New Orleans. He's got $22 billion. I'm not sure exactly where that slots him in with the other ownership groups and owner families in the NFL, but he's got enough chops to make it happen here. And so for me to look at this, when you realize where things were just 20 years ago when Katrina rolled through and the things that were possible at that point with other markets, to have a young, very rich new Louisiana native come in and buy the Saints, that's exhale number one. Because, yeah, you want your owner to do the right things as the owner in terms of hiring people and making decisions to fire people and making the organization run functionally and making it in a destination for free agents that know they'll be taken care of. You've heard Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn talk about the various organizations they played for. Hester calls the Chargers the Bush League Bolts, and he says that Denver was one of the finest organizations in the league. Matt Flynn played for the Packers, who was as stable as any organization in the sport. He ended up with the Raiders, which were a disaster. You want your owner to do the right things, of course, and that's important with the next person who steps in after Gayle Benson is gone. But before that, you need them in New Orleans, okay? And I'm not suggesting the Saints are close to leaving, right? But I am suggesting that if you were to list 10 teams likely to move, the Saints would make the list. Does it mean they're going to? I don't think they will. I think the Saints will be in New Orleans till the day I die. But I would like to have no concerns over that. And right now there are none. But with Todd Graves coming in, you would exhale. I would rather have a bad owner who kept the Saints in New Orleans than one that was really good but was looking to make money and looking elsewhere, okay? Because what happened to St. Louis and what happened to Oakland, even with the A's in baseball, that makes my stomach turn. I hate it. So this news that he's interested and we know he's got the money, he does know Gayle Benson, this feels like a narrow and direct track to the next ownership of the Saints. And if that happens, that's a huge win for the city of New Orleans and fans of the Saints, wherever you may be, Gulf Coast or anywhere else in the state of Louisiana. I hope that's the case. I have no idea how well he would do, but it would floor me beyond belief if a Louisiana native bought the Saints and moved them. It would just floor me. So I think that's awesome news. I think that's the best case scenario, and I think it is a completely positive development that you're hearing. I know it sounds like I framed it negatively at the start, but that's because it's a real discussion that we can have. Nobody's talking about moving the Bears. Well, they might move to a different state, but they're not moving across the country. The Saints, it's already been a possibility, and we've seen the NFL do this recently with other organizations. Chargers left town, Rams left town, Raiders left town in a different time. Cardinals left town, Oilers left town. It happens. Can't have that for the Saints, and if Todd Graves takes over, it won't. I'm looking forward to that if one day it does happen. All right, take a time out, come back with more. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com is that website. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. And under new ownership, as of October the 1st, the Fabry family took over that Chevy GMC lot in St. Francisville. They are thrilled for you to make the short drive from Baton Rouge to St. Francisville to get incredible deals. Chevy Silverado is up to $11,000 off MSRP or 1.9 APR financing. You're talking about GMC Sierras, the other truck, up to $13,000 off MSRP, 0.00 APR financing. Looking for a new truck, February is the month to do it, and you've only got 9 days left in the month. So get on by on Highway 61 in St. Francisville this weekend and check them out. The Fabry family is going to give you incredible customer service, great buying experience, and great service after the sale. Remember that service department services all makes as well. So make the short drive to St. Francisville, as I said, or check them out online at FabryChevrolet.com.
Ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google, based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
GoTro's Outdoor Power. GoTro's Outdoor Power, 2 locations, one on Airline Highway here in Baton Rouge, one in Gonzales. Family owned and operated for more than 20 years. Looking for a new Hustler zero-turn mower? Look no further than GoTro's Outdoor Power. I know that grass is about to start growing real quickly. Make sure you've got a mower. They've got financing options available at GoTro's Outdoor Power. If you want to stop by, you can get behind a mower, brand new one, for less than $100 over at GoTro's Outdoor Power. $100 a month, I should say. So financing options are available, and their customer service is second to none. You can buy a zero-turn mower from one of the big box stores, sure, but do they have a trailer that'll haul it to you? Do they have that huge parts department that can make sure you're taken care of after you purchase that piece of machinery? Gotros Outdoor Power does. Work with a local company here in Baton Rouge, down in Gonzales, whether you're a commercial operation or somebody that's just got some land and needs to get that mowed up. Gotros Outdoor Power is happy to help you out. Stop by today, Airline Highway or in Gonzales. They're open until 5 p.m. Also open on Saturdays as well. It's Gotros Outdoor Power. I was looking at some LSU recruiting stuff today, and I'm just keeping my eye on one specific recruitment because I think it's going to be indicative of a few things. Not necessarily declarative, but indicative. It's Easton Royal. Easton Royal is the number one player in the state of Louisiana. He is a top 10 player nationally, according to Rivals. He's the 5'10", 200-pound wide receiver from Brother Martin down in New Orleans. And he's been committed to Texas, and LSU continues to recruit him. And every recruitment is different. So I can't make, as I said, declarative statements on LSU's chops, both as a recruiting staff and as an NIL operation, revenue share operation. But this one is interesting to watch because Easton Royal is incredibly highly thought of, and you're not battling just anybody for his commitment. You're battling Texas, whose limitless resources are intimidating for me to sit back and look at. And if he decides to go to Texas, he does. Not shock me at all if he ended up at Texas. But if he ends up at LSU and does flip, I think that would suggest a few things. One, LSU on its home soil can keep up with Texas dollar for dollar in certain circumstances. I wouldn't suggest all circumstances, but in certain circumstances, it would also suggest that this staff can go down there into New Orleans and get what they're supposed to get. You can roll your eyes at me when I say that I like the fact that Frank Wilson was on staff at LSU. I never said LSU would lose New Orleans without him. I never said that he was the key to the entire operation. I never said that without Frank Wilson, the LSU recruiting operation would fall apart. I just said Frank Wilson knows a lot of people in New Orleans, both coaches, family members. And having him on the staff, I thought was a good resource for LSU. Didn't mean they got all the New Orleans kids, but I thought it gave you a pretty good chance. And so LSU decided to move on from him for some offensive staff members that have never recruited that area. And they were playing from behind with Easton Royal, okay? They weren't on a level footing with the Texas staff that had been there for years. They're just rolling in here in waves in November and December based on who it was and trying to make up ground. But if they can flip Easton Royal, who, by the way, according to reports from the folks at On3, is already receiving NIL money from Texas, it would be a statement recruiting victory for LSU. I have no idea what the likelihood is that LSU can do that. I love when my guy Shea Dixon over at On3 talks about watch what they say, watch what they do, not what they say. So I'm not going to listen to Easton Royal if he says he's 100% committed or what. None of that really matters. How many times did he visit Tiger Stadium this year? How many times did he visit Austin? How many times do LSU's coaches continue to go to his games? That's going to be interesting to watch. It's not mandatory that LSU flips Easton Royal. It would be nice, and I think it would be a statement if they do, just based on the circumstances here. If you're in competition with Auburn for an uncommitted player out of Acadiana, and he ends up picking LSU, well, that's a good win, but statement is a little bit much. You go get a 5-star who's committed to Texas and receiving NIL payments from Texas in the high school ranks and flip him at any point and get him on campus at LSU, that's a statement. It's a statement this staff can do it. New Orleans is a statement. Big Bad Texas can't just come in and throw money around and get whoever they want. Now, on the flip side, I realize the way that I'm speaking, but if you don't flip him, I'm not going to suggest the entire recruiting operation is broken. They're still doing a pretty good job in the state of Louisiana. I think they're going to get Alfred Simeon. I think they're going to get Ahmad Hudson. I think they're going to get Braylon Calais. They've already got a commitment from Peyton Houston, who seems to be locked in. Like, they've got some guys from the state of Louisiana. Jaden Anding is Aiden Anding's younger brother. I think they're going to get him. Jaden Miles is the guy who got an offer at running back. I think they'll probably get him. They're going to do okay in the state of Louisiana, but there are some guys at the top of this class, and I don't think they're going to get Elijah Haven, so you'd really like to get Easton Royal there at the top. If you don't, not a disaster. If you do, that means a lot, I think, to this staff and the way that they're putting together their recruitment. And so that's one I've just got an eye on. Not to suggest anything's imminent. He's still working through spring ball at Brother Martin, and you'll get to the camp circuit, and a lot of things happen over the course of that time. And you've still got a whole season worth of visits and all that goes into that, okay? And we'll see if LSU's offense opens some eyes after a disastrous showing last year with a new coaching staff. I'm hopeful that it does. But I think the Easton Royal recruitment could potentially be kind of a watershed moment for this staff in recruiting the state of Louisiana if they can make it happen. How likely is that? They don't pay me to know that, but I'm curious about it. So I'll keep an eye on that. That's it for hour number one here on this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. We'll step aside, get some national headlines from SportsCenter. When we come back, some really interesting things about this weekend for LSU baseball, including a Sunday starter you've watched before on the other side and a closer who pitched for LSU. We'll talk about that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. You know, safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. So if you've got a loved one who's getting up there in age but wants to stay home and you feel like there may be a hazardous situation potentially there, you can't eliminate that risk. It's always going to be there. But you can mitigate against it. David and his team are always putting in non-slip floors, always doing guardrails in spots that could be hazardous. Walk-in tubs are more comfortable and safer for those that are aging. Maybe you need a bench in the shower. They can install that as well. They can put a new shower in. It's got a little bit more room in it. Could be a little bit safer. Those are the types of things they do all the time that maybe you don't think about, but now that you hear me talk about it, that might be a good idea. Sit down with David and have that consultation. He's happy to talk you through what it is One Bath and Closets does, and I promise you this, they'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. Check them out online at onebathandclosets.com. That's onebathandclosets.com.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months because everyone deserves a safe, secure home. Trusted, local, affordable. Pelican Roofing, making quality roofing affordable for South Louisiana families.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The U.S. Women's Olympic Hockey Team taking on Canada in the gold medal game for the 7th time. Canada leads at 1-0 thanks to a shorthanded goal by Kristen O'Neill. 17 minutes left in regulation. American speed skater Jordan Stolz took silver in the 1,500 meters to go along with the gold medals he won in the 500 and 1,000 in Milan. The NBA returns from the All-Star break. 10 games on the schedule tonight, highlighted by the league-leading Pistons visiting the Knicks. Per ESPN Analytics, there's a 22% chance the teams meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. ESPN's Danny Green gives the nod to New York coming out of the East.
With the talent they have and the Cavs not looking like what the Cavs were last year, Indiana being hurt, Boston not having full health, this is the team that you look to with the experience, with the talent, with the roster, with the depth, to be the team to come out of the East. So even though their record doesn't show it, their style of play, their talent, and their experience have proven that they're the top dog and should be the team to be favored in the East.
Knicks currently 3rd in the conference. Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson will return for a 14th NFL season.
Hey, it's Michelle Smallman, and coming up Friday, we'll continue to react to the Ravens' new offensive coordinator saying he expects all the players to be at voluntary workouts. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
A magic beyond anything you could ever imagine.
You are now listening to the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Locking down the middle of the day.
You really think that's the best idea?
Live from the Raising Cane's studio, this is Hunt Palmer.
It's quite a piece of work.
Hour 2, Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Sagrera Farms, premium Angus beef. I'm not Catholic. My wife is. She gives up meat on Fridays and Lent. I don't. Is that a bad move if I cook a steak tomorrow?
No, I'm not Catholic either, and it's not a bad move, no.
I mean, is that insensitive? Is it's like,
well,
if she can't have it?
It's levels to
because
insensitive.
then she can't have it. That's torture.
But she doesn't like ribeyes anyway.
Yeah. Well, look. You can't don't eat it in front of her. Are y'all eating like together at the dinner table?
I mean, probably.
Okay, well that's kind of.
I feel like that would be torture for me.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't know about that.
I couldn't
move.
sit there and watch you.
All right, I may thaw it out and make it happen Saturday or something. I've got this delicious, huge Sagrera Farms ribeye in the freezer that I want to get to cooking. Maybe not tomorrow. I might maybe go with some. The thing that's like. Alyssa will say tomorrow, she's like, well, let's get like a shrimp fettuccine Alfredo or a big cheese pizza. It's like, is that really sacrifice? We're really sacrificing here.
Yeah.
Like it's
levels. It's levels.
There are levels for sure. All right. Our Thursday shows are brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. We'll watch Chris Blair coming up in about 12 minutes. He was in Knoxville with the basketball team, then in Austin with the basketball team. He'll be watching the Tigers and Tide tomorrow Saturday on the call for that. No baseball, I believe, for Mr. Blair this weekend as the Tigers headed to Jacksonville, and that's what I want to talk about here. Interesting weekend for LSU. I did some preliminary research on these 3 teams that LSU is going to play. It's Indiana, it's Notre Dame, and it's UCF. And I'm not going to try to overreact to 4 and 3 game sample sizes here. You can't tell if these teams are good or not based on 4 or 3 games, okay? But I'll tell you about each team that LSU will play and just an interesting nugget here and there. Indiana is who LSU will play tomorrow at 1 o'clock, so 23 hours from right now. The Hoosiers went to North Carolina at Chapel Hill this past weekend, and they got swept. They lost 9-4 on Friday. They lost 12-2 on Saturday, and they lost 4-3 in a real nail-biter in the game on Sunday. In the midweek, they actually played at home, which surprised me to hear Indiana was playing a home game in February. They beat Bradley 15-3 in the midweek. I don't know what the rotations are going to be for any of these teams, so I'm not going to swear to you this is how they're going to line it up, but I'll give you a nugget on the guy that started for them on that day of the week last week. Indiana's opening game starter last week was Tony Newbeck. And I heard that name and I went, I know that name from somewhere. I think that's a transfer that I'm familiar with. And it is. He was at Missouri last year as a left-handed pitcher, and I'm not going to be hyperbolic here. I'm not. I promise. But I could make the case that Tony Newbeck had the worst year of any pitcher in the Southeastern Conference last year. I could make the case. I don't mean to pile on Tony. He threw it great in Chapel Hill last week. Last week, 4 innings against the Tar Heels, no runs, 1 hit, walked 3, struck out 2 through 62 pitches. Good outing in Chapel Hill on Friday of last week. Last year at Missouri, 17 1/3 innings, 36 hits, 35 runs, 32 earned runs in 17 1/3. If you're thinking, what's the ERA on that? I'll tell you. 16.62 was Tony Newbeck's ERA. That's something you usually see if a guy's got 1 2/3 innings pitched and he gave up like 9. Nope, he threw 17 1/3 for Missouri last year. He started 4 games for them. He was 1-5 with a 16.62 ERA. But he is left-handed, and he threw it well last weekend. So that's what I got on Indiana. If Tony Newbeck pitches tomorrow, that's a guy that LSU should hit. Notre Dame is the Saturday opponent. They played at Florida Atlantic on last weekend. They took 2 out of 3. They won game 1. They lost game 1 7-1. Then they won game 2 14-1 and won game 3 7-1. Their game 2 starter was a lefty. I don't really care to go into the details of it, but it's very possible that LSU will see a left-handed starter on Friday and Saturday. I think that would be interesting for me to see what Jay Johnson does with the lineup there. LSU sees a righty. I know what's coming. I know York's coming. I know Reeves is coming. I know Milam's coming from the left side. I know that you're going to see very likely, you're going to see Jake Brown. You're going to see Derek Curiel, and you're probably going to see Mason Braun in the lineup in those cases. Like, I know what's coming with the righty. With the lefty, I'm curious to see how they shake some things out. Does Simpson play second base? Is John Pearson going to play third with Caraway at second? Who are they going to DH in that situation? Like, I think that there are more variables for LSU against the lefty. You could see it against Newbeck on Friday and against Crowell on Saturday. But again, there's no guarantee that Indiana and Notre Dame are just going to run it back with their rotations from last weekend, so we'll see. Here's where some of this stuff gets pretty interesting for LSU on Sunday. Central Florida's got 2 pitchers whose names you may recognize. Now, they opened the season against Siena. They won game 1 16-0 in 7. They won game 2 13-1 in 7, and they won game 3 15-0 in 7. That is a total of 44-1 against Siena. Wow. But then they stepped up in class in the midweek and they played Miami. And they lost the game 8-7 in 13 innings, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. They were leading that game. They had a commanding lead. They gave up 2 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to tie it, to send it to extras, and lost in 13, 8-7. That's tough to give up 5 runs when you have a 7-2 lead in the last 2 innings. And I'll tell you what happened in the 9th inning of that game when they gave up a 3 spot to give up the lead. Chandler Dorsey, who pitched here last year, briefly, is their closer. Not only did he blow the game, he hit 4 guys in the 9th inning. 4 in a 3-run 9th. Brutal stuff. And if LSU plays Central Florida, there's a chance in the 9th inning you could see former Tiger Chandler Dorsey on the mound. Now, what about in the starting rotation for UCF? Well, I was looking up who they started against Siena on Sunday of last week when they won 15-0, And I saw the name Camden Wicker, and I went, that's an SEC guy, where'd he go? And I clicked on his bio. Not an SEC guy. Camden Wicker was Wofford's second starter behind Zach Cowan 2 years ago when LSU played him in the regional in Chapel Hill, and he was the Sunday starter for Wofford against LSU. If you don't remember that game, LSU walked Wofford off on Friday and then lost to North Carolina on Saturday. So they had to come back, beat Wofford in the morning on Sunday, and then go beat North Carolina in the evening. And in that game against Wofford, Ackenhausen started, and they lit him up in the first. And so Jay Johnson did something he did not want to do, and he went to Griffin Herring in that game in the first or second inning. And Herring gave you 6 1/3 to burn him for the regional. But he was brilliant. And that's the game that Camden Wicker started against LSU. And I remember watching him, and he was a freshman, and he was tall and lanky, and he threw hard, and he had a good changeup. And I was like, this dude's got something. And obviously, he has moved on now, and he's at Central Florida. So LSU saw this guy 2 years ago. I don't know how applicable that is to the stuff that he's got now, but it was interesting nugget that the guy that you saw for Wofford in the regional 2 years ago on Sunday, not Friday, is potentially the starter against you on Sunday this week. So for Indiana, got swept. They've got a former Missouri pitcher that pitched on Fridays who had a terrible year last year, but he's left-handed. Notre Dame took 2 out of 3 against Florida Atlantic. Now they come down here for Game 4 tomorrow, and then they'll play LSU in their 5th game of the season. Their Saturday starter last week was left-handed. Maybe LSU sees 2 straight left-handed starters. And then Camden Wicker potentially on Sunday, and then we'll see if old Chandler Dorsey grabs the baseball against LSU in that game. Had a brutal outing in the midweek for Central Florida as he hit 4 guys in the 9th. So that's kind of a look at this tournament. I'll briefly discuss LSU baseball tomorrow during the game because I feel like, unlike Wednesday's show where I know you're all watching that game or listening to that game, in this case, you may not pay the $30 for D1 baseball. You may tune us in and the game, whatever the case may be. So certainly I'm not allowed to do play-by-play, but may mention a little bit of LSU's baseball. But big picture for LSU this weekend, and I'll talk about it in a couple segments. I want to see good stuff from the 2 sophomore right-handers. I need Evans and Schmidt to be better than they were this past weekend. And I'm just curious to see how Jay stacks the lineup. I think LSU is significantly better than Indiana, Notre Dame, and UCF. I think LSU should go there and win all 3 games. Wouldn't surprise me if you stubbed your toe like you did over in Frisco in 2023 when you dropped a game to Iowa. But I think that LSU is a decided favorite this weekend. And we'll have a little bit of a step up in competition, but it's one where LSU should take care of its business. We'll see. They crank things up in about 23 hours, 1 o'clock Central Time from over in Jacksonville. And that's a little preview of LSU's opponents coming up this week. Let me tell you, which I forgot to do in the first hour, so I can go ahead and do it now. I want to tell you about my friends over at Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website. LifetimeRoofingLA.com. Look, they've got a lifetime workmanship warranty on their materials and their workmanship. That started up on January 1st, and they are so proud of it. That materials are backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest, most trusted names in building materials. So if you're looking for a roofing company that's based here, that's going to be here before the storm, during the storm, and after the storm, Lifetime Roofing will be here. And they give you a lifetime workmanship warranty, which is pretty rare out there in the roofing game. They also got financing options, 0% for 18 months. So if you want to buy a new roof retail, maybe you're selling your home and you need to put a new roof on it to improve the resale value, but you might need financing, they can do that for you for 18 months. Also, if there's a weather event and you've got a sizable deductible and want to finance that, they can do that as well. They got a whole department there, Lifetime Roofing, that can help you out doing that. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. Been a tough go for LSU basketball. Obviously, Chris Blair has been courtside for all of it. We'll briefly talk about that and certainly what he's seen from the baseball squad as well. Come back with us. The voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, is next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Also, love telling you about my friends over at First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust started up in 19 1910. That's 116 years ago for those that are struggling with math. It's been a while for First American Bank and Trust. They've grown to 25 locations throughout southeast Louisiana. It means there's always one near you, whether you're down the Rivier parishes, St. John, Lafourche, Terrebonne, maybe up the I-12 corridor in Tammany, Tangipahoa. Certainly here in the 225, they can help you out with your commercial loans, with your personal loans. Everyone that works there at First American Bank and Trust is part of your community. And every decision that is made on loans, so maybe the future of a loan for your commercial business, for your home, the decision is made here in Southeast Louisiana. And if you're thinking to yourself, well, it's probably a mom and pop shop, do they have the resources I'm really looking for my business? They do. 25 locations says that out loud. So go by and see them at one of their 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana. Tell them the Hunt Palmer Show sent you in. It's First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish contractors, let's get building.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. Time now to talk to the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair. He joins us on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Back from his Knoxville to Austin two-step, and that'll be LSU and Alabama on the hardwood and the PMAC on Saturday evening. Chris, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back in Baton Rouge, I'll tell you that.
I'm sure it is. So the game in Austin was interesting because LSU fell behind 15, 16 points, and then all of a sudden McKinnon caught fire. What did that look like from your vantage point inside Moody Center?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, there was a stretch there. I mean, I think you and I talked about it a month ago. You know, there was a stretch in that Arkansas game up in Fayetteville where Darius Acuff was just like, give me the ball, get out of the way, and I'm going to put points on the board. And that's kind of what Max did there for a stretch in that second half. I mean, he had 6 points in the first half, which, he had missed the Tennessee game with a knee injury. And the good news was he was able to come back, but you're kind of thinking, how much load can he handle when they consider the fact that, he didn't start the game, but came in fairly early. And then, second half, he just took over. I mean, they really had no answer for him. And I think a lot of it started with the middle ball screen because they got tapped a number of times, Nwoko and even Rob Miller. And then there were times where they would set the high ball screen, and then it was just let Max break them down in isolation. And he made some tough mid-range jumpers, got to the rim a couple of times, scored 21 points, and finished with 27. So, it was an excellent performance by him, just not enough offensive firepower. And that's unfortunately seems to be the story each and every night for this basketball team.
I was a little bummed that McKinnon did not get a shot in the last 2 minutes. Did that surprise you?
Yeah, I mean, again, there was the opportunity to tie it late. And, I love Pablo Tamba. I love what he does from an energy standpoint. But, he got the inbounds and you had to put it up quickly. And, it was odd that, unfortunately, I feel bad for Pablo that he was kind of put in that position where he had to take that shot and missed it badly. And, again, because the sure hot hand was clearly Max McKinnon.
I feel like Jalen Reese has played a couple pretty good basketball games in the last week. I heard Matt McMahon say that he thought he grew up in Knoxville and then 8 assists against just 1 turnover in the game in Austin. What have you seen from the freshman point guard?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's coming along, and we've watched him, I think, just get more confident. I mean, and I kind of explained it to Coach last night, early in the season, he had plenty of minutes in the non-conference. Then he's thrust into a starting role, with the injury to DJ to start the first 3 games of conference play. And, that's, again, baptism by fire. But it looked like in the last 2 games that he was like, you know what? I'm as good as this freshman. I'm as good as this junior. I can beat this senior off the dribble. It looks like he wants the ball and he wants to do something with it. And again, his first 2 buckets, I mean, there was a great 2-point bucket, and then he comes back and a little jab step, drop back, and buries the 3 in the guy's face. And it was like, wait a minute, whoa. So again, back-to-back double-figure scoring, first in SEC play for Jalen Reese. And then, like you said, I think the last 2 games, 13 assists, 2 turnovers.
Yep.
That'll get it done.
It hopefully will. Any chance Alabama's got some tired legs in the PMAC come up on Saturday?
Well, they certainly had to play a marathon game last night and single-handedly beat Darius Acuff Jr. I mean, that was an amazing performance. That was an amazing game. I mean, I laid down last night. The first thing I see on social media is the 2 top scorers in the history of Coleman Coliseum, and it's, Pistol Pete Maravich and now Darius Acuff Jr. But to your point, they had to expend, quite a bit of energy. And frankly, watching Alabama this year, I mean, offensively they do what they do. And they were able to replace what I thought was going to be hard, their backcourt, and they got 2 really good ones. But defensively, I don't know that that's the strength of Alabama. And again, kudos, they found a way to get a win in double overtime last night against a talented Arkansas team. But it's a team that wants to shoot a 3 before the shot clock hits 15. And it's a team that wants to move quickly. So, again, we've seen LSU at times, more so on the road than at home, for whatever reason, be able to slow the game down a little bit. And that's the only chance. There is no way under the moon, if that game gets 85 or above, that LSU can stick with Alabama. So they got to find a way to muddy up the game and try to keep it in the 70s at best. And, again, that's much easier to say than do.
Chris Blair is our guest, voice of the Tigers. Will be on the call for LSU and Alabama come Saturday in the Assembly Center. Let's switch over to baseball, Chris, and not necessarily this team specifically, although I have multiple instances that I've heard in press conferences of guys saying something to this. But Jay Johnson is building so much talent and depth on the pitching staff and the position player side that he can't play everybody every game, every at bat. And it appears to me in hearing the players talk, they're okay in some instances not starting that day or getting pinch hit for and then coming in and playing defense in this spot or getting a pinch hit spot here or relief spot here. I'm just, in this day and age of college athletics where you feel like a lot of folks are doing what's best for them, the culture that Jay has built has struck me in some of the player sound that we've gotten. You're around him a lot. What can you say to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, it's just 4 years I've said this. And frankly, to highlight your point even more specifically, Hunt, the fact that, 4 years ago there was, obviously there was transfer portal and there was NIL, but it is dramatically changed in the last 4 years. And yet, even though it has become a part of college baseball, and we see it, I mean, obviously LSU's been the beneficiary of some great transfers, and so have other teams. The fact that he has been able to build the mindset that you are going to be able to eat at the table, not every single meal, but you'll be at the table. And because we have highlighted and lifted this program so much and the success that they have had under Jay Johnson, you are still going to benefit whether or not you are in every single game in the starting lineup and whether you get 5 at-bats a game. And somehow, again, and the proof is in the pudding. If you look at what guys have done that have come through the program under Jay Johnson, whether or not they've been an everyday starter or not, that he's been able to create that brotherhood, that identity, that mantra within the locker room is quite amazing. And I think baseball still continues to have that, at least college baseball. But I don't think anybody's done a better job of creating that type of culture than Jay Johnson. When you look at the sheer amount of talent that you can just plug and play off the bench, out of the starting lineup, out of the bullpen, I mean, it's really quite remarkable. And again, you have to caution yourself because, at some point baseball is a difficult season. You'd love to go 56-0, but the chances of that happening are slim and none. And it's going to be kind of crestfallen because right now I think we're all just amazed at the amount of talent that is possessed in that locker room for LSU baseball. And frankly, I think the rest of the country feels that way too.
One of the platoons last year was Josh Pearson and Jake Brown. Neither batted an eye at their roles. John Pearson might be up for some of that. We saw him hit one over the bleachers yesterday. They got a lot of left-handed hitting infielders. He hits right-handed. Would it surprise you if John Pearson had a big role in this team?
No, I mean, I think he's making it very difficult to do that. I mean, obviously he was known for his hitting. He's known for his power. But Jay has shown it time and time again. I mean, at some point, people make it impossible to keep him out of the starting lineup in a position somewhere on the field. And again, I think when you lead with offense the way John Pearson does, I think you will get your opportunities to crack into the starting lineup. But having said that, Hunt, I still would not be shocked at the end of the season that you don't have guys like John and others who, again, are going to have huge moments in winning situations for this baseball team come through time and time again and still not bat an eye that they are not the everyday starter at certain positions. Again, it's amazing. And when you talk to coaches, especially coaches who are not in college baseball, that's when you really find out the respect they have for Jay Johnson because they're like, I don't know how he does it.
It's impressive. In one press conference setting, Gavin Guidry and Mason Braun both said something to that effect. One guy's a fourth-year player. One guy just showed up like 20 minutes ago. It's been amazing to watch the culture that he's built. Winning does a lot for you. Chris, we appreciate some time. We'll be listening tomorrow. Thanks.
You got it.
Saturday, I should say, we'll be listening. That's Chris Blair, the voice of the Tigers, LSU, and Alabama from the PMAC on Saturday. Tigers in Jacksonville for weekend baseball. Afternoon start every single day for LSU. And that starts tomorrow at 1 o'clock against Indiana. So let me remind you, my friends, at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Look, it's truck month in February for sure. If you're looking for a new ride in 2026, don't wait. Get to Highway 61 in St. Francisville, make that short drive, and see what makes the Fabry family so special. They've been at this 35 years in Baton Rouge. They know how to treat their customers. They know how to service that vehicle and that relationship after the sale. And if you're looking for a great deal, they got them. And I'll tell you every single day because it's going to be over in 9 days. It's a February deal only. Chevy Silverados, up to $11,000 off MSRP, 1.9% APR financing. GMC Sierras, up to $13,000 off MSRP, 0.0 APR financing. Incredible deals on trucks. They got your SUVs, Tahoes, Yukons, Denali's. They got all those. But if you're looking for a truck, Silverados and Sierras are 5 figures off MSRP. So go by and see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. That entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com. Had something I wanted to get to on, speaking of Jay Johnson and the culture that he's built. Something has struck me with the fan base through a week and a half. I know it's going to change, but it's refreshing right now, and I want to talk about that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. Want to play some golf? You can do it. Weather doesn't look great on Saturday. It's going to be cold on Sunday, relatively speaking. Colder than it is right now. The weather's not going to be ideal for you, or you don't have enough time to go play golf for 5 hours. How about this weekend, you go play 18 at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Bring 2 friends. Play Pebble Beach. Go play Cypress Point. Got one of the most famous holes in the world. Can you hit the green on the 16th? It's about 205 over water. You got that shot? Let's see it over at Swing Easy Golf Club. They're on Segan at Perkins. You can get a bucket of beer on ice, some seltzers there. They got a glass of wine for you. Comfortable seating. You can play the tunes on their turtle boxes there. You can watch some TV as well. It's all there at Swing Easy Golf Club. So make a weekend of it, make an afternoon of it, make a morning of it. If you don't have time to get out to the course, you can get out to Swing Easy on Segan at Perkins. They're online at swingeasygcbr.com.
Okay, and what is our goal?
Less than 110.
That's right, less than 110.
We teach. We laugh. We pray.
Dear Heavenly Father, please guide our hands during this procedure.
Hey, how we feeling today?
I'm feeling better. We heal.
You look better.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
We do all things
I got you. No way.
with great love. FMOL Health. This is how we healthcare.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience, or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Citizen Bank and Trust want to cover your car payments. Enter to win $5,000 plus a bonus shot at 6 months of Benny Car Wash. Get an extra entries by subscribing to our LouisianaSports.net daily newsletter. Enter now at 1045ESPN.com.
Thursday show is brought to you by Sagrera Farms Premium Angus Beef. I tell you every single week when they bring our shows on Thursday, the grading scale for beef is the intermuscular fat content, and it starts at 0. And if you go 0 to 3, 4, you're talking about select. That's not good. You're talking about 3 to 8, 4 to 8 to 9. That's your choice. That's the average stuff that you probably can pick up most places. Prime is what you see fine dining steakhouses advertise, right? Prime Angus beef. That's all Sean has. And that standard starts at 9 on this scale. He's got cows on his farm right now. They've been ultrasounded by veterinarians that are 12, 14, 17, 20. In some cases, double the standard of prime that we've gotten from Sean. My wife is obsessed with the burgers that I make with the ground beef. It's just a better quality of beef. Fat content is higher, and it's just more tender and flavorful. We had a bunch of folks at Christmas that got some Sagrera Farms beef, and we had a roast made one day. It was just incredible. The flavor, the tenderness is off the charts, and you're talking about right up the road in Ethel. Some of the best beef in the country. So if you want to quit going every week and get mediocre beef that may have hundreds or thousands of DNA in that 1 pound pack, go get a cow that has one DNA, that has never been improperly injected with antibiotics or used any steroids, that is locally raised on grass, finished on grain, dry aged 45 days, and is prime. Sagrera Farms. You give Sean a call. I give you his number. You just call him. You go up to the farm. There's only 2 places you can get Sagrera Farms beef. You can get it on the farm or at Supper Club. That's it. So call Sean, 225-719-1723. That's 225-719-1723. And go get some beef at Sagrera Farms. I'm going to regret this segment at some point because I'll be proven wrong. I know how sports works. This is not an LSU thing. It's a sports thing. But I've been pleasantly surprised at some of the reaction to this early baseball season. Because overwhelmingly, 95% of what I've read, my Twitter, my conversations with friends, my group text message, Tiger droppings or whatever, like people talking about LSU baseball. If there's a perceived weakness on the team, the almost immediate reaction is, Jay will figure it out. Nesky's got it. Don't worry about it. No big deal. That's so rare because we generally live in the world, and we did it for football with 2 years, and we do it with basketball every 10 minutes. It's always fire the coach, fire the coach, fire the coach. The coach sucks, fire the coach. This is going to fall. It's like it's constant. And that, personally, I'm not wired like that. It kind of drives me nuts. And I realize they've won 2 national titles in 3 years, okay? So that's about as much equity as you can build up in a short time. But to see the fan reaction of like, yeah, Evans wasn't great on Friday, it'll be fine. Schmidt wasn't awesome on Sunday. Yesky's got it. To hear folks say, well, they went through an offensive lull on Saturday. Jay will get that figured out. No big deal. Well, do they have a second baseman? He's got depth. It's good. It's refreshing to me. I don't know if it's realistic, because I'll tell you, candidly, I have my significant questions about the rotation. I think the offense is going to be really good, and I really trust that the bullpen will have some very, very strong pieces to turn to. The rotation, I don't believe, is solidified, and I think potentially may not live up to the standard. That's how I view it. But the fan base doesn't, and for the most part. I'm not putting a blanket on everyone, but the fan base really doesn't. I love that. It makes me happy. Now, they're going to lose a weekend or 3 this year. They might lose 4. It's a tough conference. The sport's unforgiving, and if something doesn't work, and at that point, people will address the cracks in the armor. And hand up, 2023, I hit this desk right here, and I hit the panic button when they couldn't get Mississippi State out in the bullpen. And I said, look, they've got Skeens. Nobody's emerged as number 2. The bullpen really hasn't come together at all. Cooper's getting knocked all over the yard. Shores and Edwards are hurt. I don't think they can figure it out. I said that. 2024, they were 3-12 at the break. I said they're not going to make it. I, like Mr. Optimism, have expressed sincere doubt about those 2 teams. One of them won the national championship, and the other one turned it completely around behind 2 great starters and a good lineup, and they got to the finish line of the Chapel Hill Regional and just fell a little bit short. Now, last year, I said midway through, when they played Arkansas and Tennessee, I said, look, I don't know what's going to happen. They're good enough. I promise you they're good enough to get this done. They may not, but that week against those two programs, those 6 games, even at home, I said they are good enough to do this. So I didn't necessarily have that moment in time in 25, but I certainly did in 23 and 24. And that moment more than likely is coming because baseball seasons have their adversity. But I just am enjoying this early season period where essentially the reaction to any negative that comes up over the course of a game or a weekend, everyone just goes, it's fine. We got Jay. And I think that's an amazing thing because I do think that in the off season, fans are wired extremely positively. In season, fans are wired to overreact negatively. That's my general take on the situation. And so for us to get into the season, I know they're playing teams that are way overmatched. It's way early. They've got, what have they played, 4? They've got 52 games left, okay? This could sound like a stupid segment in 25 hours from right now if they lose to Indiana by 4 tomorrow and Evans gets crushed in the 3rd inning. Like, I understand this could be dated literally one day from now. But I'm just pointing out what I'm seeing right now, and it's encouraging. I'm wired like this for baseball. More often than not, I'm going to let things really play out. Now, I've just told you what has happened in, I would call that late March, early April for me in those 2 instances. But the positive equity that Jay Johnson has built is incredible. And I do enjoy the fact that there are lots of LSU fans that probably think it's more likely than not LSU will win the national championship this year. Like, that's the brain warp that we've got down here that I love. But just go over to College Station, Texas, and go over to Fayetteville, Arkansas, go over to Starkville, Mississippi, and Gainesville, Florida, and ask those fans how realistic it is to think that it's more likely than not you'll win the national championship. Florida's had a power for 15 years under O'Sullivan. They got 1. Dave Van Horn's built a machine. They've won 18 league games or more every year since 2017. 18 or more every year. No titles. They've been churning out first-round picks over there in College Station. Nothing. Ole Miss, they had to win a national title when they were dead and buried the last week of the season. Mississippi State's had as strong a fan interest in that program as anybody since the 80s. 1 title. We live in Fantasyland. I love Fantasyland. I never want to leave Fantasyland. It's February 19th, and I spent 5 minutes this morning discussing Omaha travel plans. I'm in Fantasyland with y'all, but I'm aware I'm in Fantasyland. I just love the brimming positivity that comes with it. And no doubt, like, it'll feel like this in August of this year with football. People will feel like that in August. But that first football loss, I'm confident everybody will say, well, it's probably time to burn the boats. That's just how things go. But I've enjoyed the dismissiveness of early negatives because of the status of the program at this point. And I hope you're all proven right for being dismissive of negatives. I hope they go 21-9 in the league and get a top 8 and sweep their way to another national championship. I would love it. But I like to enjoy the ride the whole way. And you'll always hear exactly what I think. And I appreciate LSU fans saying exactly what they think, even if it's something I disagree with. Everybody's real positive at this point. I love it. Come back and close things out on this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Ochsner wants to remind you it is Heart Month in February. Great time to focus on your overall health. Everybody does that in January, right? You're trying to get back in shape, trying to eat a little bit better, coming off the holidays. January is a big month where everybody kind of takes things seriously. And then you get into February and people start letting go of the rope a little bit, right? Don't do that. Heart disease is the number 1 cause of death for men and women, and it's often preventable. Stay active with regular exercise. Try to eat your diet a little bit more balanced, fruits, veggies, grains. Manage your stress. Try to get enough sleep, and if you can, avoid smoking, limit alcohol. Your primary care provider is your partner in this prevention. They can help monitor blood pressure, cholesterol, overall heart health. So get your checkups. Early detection and guidance can keep you on track for a healthy heart. Your primary care can be scheduled at ochsner.org/brprimary. That's ochsner.org/brprimary. Small steps today can lead to a stronger heart tomorrow, so check in with your doctors and make sure you're on track for a healthy 2026. Locations throughout Louisiana, find them at ochsner.org.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient. And the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel?
This is the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Sagrera Farms.
Wrapping things up on this Thursday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, we will kind of pivot away from baseball tomorrow. There's going to be a little bit of baseball. I'll talk a little bit about it. We're going to have Joe Healy on tomorrow. He'll be in Arlington, just kind of as a look ahead to the entirety of the SEC slate and some thoughts on SEC action with Joe. And probably do some LSU football recruiting. We'll talk LSU football with Preston Guy. So we'll do some other outside baseball stuff come for tomorrow's show. Let me look at LSU's schedule as I roll through it right now. Certainly LSU plays at 1 o'clock on Friday. See if that's the last of the 1 o'clock midweeks. It is. So tomorrow is the last one we have to deal with. That's right in the middle of the show. It's a bummer, but I understand it. And certainly not a lot of control LSU has over the tournament games that they play. I know that LSU had a little bit of pull in those early Houston tournaments, where LSU consistently got the night game on Friday, they got the mid-afternoon game on Saturday, and they got the early game to get out of town on Sunday. I think LSU, Paul Maneri, who was in the driver's seat early on in those, was like, hey, will come, but we're the draw here. So this is where we're playing. And LSU played in those time slots the first 2 times, maybe 3 times they went to Houston. I know they did play one late game on Sunday, which was goofy. I went to Houston that year and obviously didn't stay for a 6:30 or 7 o'clock Sunday night game. But we'll have our last LSU-centric baseball show that overlaps with the game tomorrow. But my thoughts on the weekend overall for LSU, I do believe they'll win all 3 games because I believe they're better than these 3 teams. If Indiana throws who I think they're going to throw tomorrow, that's a significant advantage for LSU. LSU is loaded out of the bullpen. Jay Johnson said in the postgame he did not want to throw Rizzi, didn't want to throw Fontenot, didn't want to throw some of their main bullpen guys in the game last night, and LSU avoided that. So didn't throw Guidry in that game. They'll have everybody loaded for Bear tomorrow. I would suggest probably Ricken is the only guy who is unavailable for Friday's game. So that gives LSU a huge leg up. I think the Tigers are better than Notre Dame and Central Florida. But if Central Florida does throw that former Wofford pitcher, I can't claim to have seen him pitch since he did against LSU in the regional 2 years ago in 2024. So I don't know exactly what he's got, but he didn't have as much as Schmidt has, and hopefully LSU's still got a lot of bullpen pieces left at that point, and LSU's offense is more talented than these teams. So I'm hopeful LSU does what they did in Frisco last year, goes out, takes care of business. They did that in Houston the year before as well. So hopefully the Tigers can go get 3 wins this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. I'll have a preview piece up tomorrow morning first thing on LouisianaSports.net looking at all 3 opponents. So that's all for today, except for Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so the jersey worn by Dallas Mavericks rookie Cooper Flagg in the first half of his NBA debut was sold privately for $1 million, a record for Flagg collectibles and a record for a jersey sold through NBA auctions. So is Cooper Flagg already on his way to star path? Take it or leave it.
I'll take that.
I'll
for
take
sure.
$1 million for your first game.
It just it depends on how much money you have. If Jeff Bezos wants to buy that jersey, I think $1 million is perfectly
nothing,
reasonable. Yeah. Is that jersey worth I mean, I guess if Flagg becomes a 12-time All-Star and a Hall of Famer his first game, I guess that's kind of the bet you're making on there. It seems like a lot for a jersey a guy wore in a November NBA game.
No, literally. And keep in mind, it was just for the first half. So he ended up wearing a different jersey for the second half. So the first half.
I didn't have that luxury in high school. They weren't letting us change jerseys at half. We were going to have to wear the same jersey for the first and second half.
Oh, yeah. Don't matter how sweaty, how wet you get, don't matter. You keep that same jersey on. We don't have spares. So, yeah, man, I think he would be on the path. Your first half, $1 million, that's kind of crazy. So, reigning Heisman Trophy winner and national champion Fernando Mendoza revealed last week that he nearly committed to Georgia before deciding to make the move to Indiana in the transfer portal. Mendoza added that he was about to commit to Georgia, but ultimately reconsidered once his phone call to Kirby Smart didn't go through. So would Georgia have won the national championship this year? That Fernando Mendoza, take it or leave it?
I will take it.
I'll take it. I mean, he's an upgrade over Stockton.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Stockton play in the Georgia Dome
though.
in the Sugar Bowl. I didn't think he was terrible. I thought Georgia got diced a little bit on defense in the second half. It wasn't like Stockton turned the ball over a bunch like the scoop and score Georgia got. So I'll say yes. Why not? He won the Heisman. Like, maybe so. Maybe not though.
But it really just goes to show you just that little bit of his phone call doesn't go through, so Kirby Smart doesn't get Fernando
Kirby needs
Mendoza.
a new provider. Get a new provider there. That's an issue. Cell service, and they don't have any issues driving too fast. They got issues with cell service.
You know what? I tried to stay away from that. It was a low hanging fruit.
2 arrests, more reckless driving.
Yes,
I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. I will say this.
Yes,
Athens has very aggressive police in terms of arresting people.
Okay.
They police their downtown very strictly. MIPs are very prevalent. Students go to jail for that a lot. Public intox is given out a lot, more than it is in Baton Rouge for sure. But these guys are going too fast. Like that's obvious everywhere.
I mean, if you at this point, is it not an initiation process to get onto the team? It feels like every year it's the same thing around this time in January, February.
I would like to get Kirby Smart in a room off the record, full 100%. Like, what's the deal with these guys driving 100 miles an hour through Athens? and just see what he has to say. Would he say, like, there's a lot of guys, or would he just be like, these guys are idiots? I would really like to know.
I would, too. I would, too. So keep in mind, talking about the Bears, you talked about them a little bit earlier. So the Chicago Bears endeavor for a new stadium took a meaningful step Thursday, opening the door for the storied franchise to leave Illinois and the potential to build a dome stadium in Northwest Indiana. Indiana lawmakers, they passed a unanimous to a bill, something they voted 24-0, basically to make way for the Bears to build a stadium in Hammond, Indiana. So is the Indiana Bears a real thing? Take it or leave it.
For those that are listening, going, are you serious? They're leaving Chicago? It's like less than an hour from Chicago.
Yeah, 35 minutes.
It's like the 49ers playing in Santa Clara, Cowboys playing in Arlington, the Patriots playing in Foxborough. It's just across state lines, but it's right there. The Chicago folks will get on the interstate and they'll be there in half an hour. So this is something I've been very aware of. They looked at Arlington Heights, which I don't know where that is, and they've looked at just staying in Soldier Field. But apparently the ownership group is being cheap, which happens all the time.
Sounds about
and
right.
I'm curious. The overwhelming thought was from the Chicago media I heard is that like George McCaskey owns the team. He is George Halas's grandson.
Okay.
And they're saying like if George Halas knew his grandson moved the Bears out of Chicago, out of Illinois, he would not believe. And so, and I don't not that I knew George Halas, but like that's a big move.
It is huge.
It's a big move.
So that's it for Take It or Leave It.
All right, Take It or Leave It here on this Thursday, brought to you by Sagrera Farms. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further Review. Missed any of our show today, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. A little bit of LSU baseball preview and a reaction. Also, what's the story going on in Lawrence, Kansas? How does that impact LSU? And could Todd Graves buy the Saints? You can catch it all on demand. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow for the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carbo and his team, they're experts in the insurance game. If you're looking at your insurance renewal, you're a business and you're seeing terms for 60, 90 days out and you're going, I need to save 20%. So I'm going to call Jonathan Carbo, heard about it on Hunt Show, and he'll save me 20, 30%. That's not really how this works. Like, in this marketplace, that's not realistic. What they can do is make sure that you're appropriately priced because they have dozens of carriers they're contracted with and they can shop. And what they can do is make sure you're covered. If you don't know whether or not you're covered for employment practice liability or what that is, Highland Insurance Group. If you don't know if your building's properly evaluated, if you're looking at co-insurance penalties, you don't have cyber insurance or what your limits should be, Highland Insurance Group. They're here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide in the state of Louisiana. Check them out online at HighlandIG.com. It's HighlandIG.com.